Mark Twain 1835–1910 Mark Twain, the writer, adventurer and wily social critic born Samuel Clemens, wrote the novels Adventures of Tom Sawyer and Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. Mark Twain, whose real name was Samuel Clemens, was the celebrated author of several novels including two major classics of American literature, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. He was also a riverboat pilot, journalist, lecturer, entrepreneur and inventor. Twain was born Samuel Langhorne Clemens in the tiny village of Florida, Missouri on November 30, 1835, the sixth child of John and Jane Clemens. When he was 4 years old, his family moved to nearby Hannibal, a bustling river town of 1,000 people. John Clemens worked as a storekeeper, lawyer, judge and land speculator, dreaming of wealth but never achieving it, sometimes finding it hard to feed his family. He was an unsmiling fellow. According to one legend, young Sam never saw his father laugh. His mother, by contrast, was a fun-loving, tender-hearted homemaker who whiled away many a winter's night for her family by telling stories. She became head of the household in 1847 when John died unexpectedly. The Clemens family now became almost destitute, wrote biographer Everett Emerson, and was forced into years of economic struggle, a fact that would shape the career of Twain. Twain stayed in Hannibal until age 17. The town, situated on the Mississippi River, was in many ways a splendid place to grow up. Steamboats arrived there 3 times a day, tooting their whistles. Circuses, minstrel shows and revivalists paid visits. A decent library was available, and tradesmen such as blacksmiths and tanners practiced their entertaining crafts for all to see. However, violence was commonplace, and young Twain witnessed much death. When he was 9 years old, he saw a local man murder a cattle rancher, and at 10 he watched an enslaved person die after a white overseer struck him with a piece of iron. Hannibal inspired several of Twain's fictional locales, including St. Petersburg in Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn. These imaginary river towns are complex places, sunlit and exuberant on the one hand, but also vipers' nests of cruelty, poverty, drunkenness, loneliness and soul-crushing boredom, all parts of Twain's boyhood experience. Sam kept up his schooling until he was about 12 years old, when, with his father dead and the family needing a source of income, he found employment as an apprentice printer at the Hannibal Courier, which paid him with a meager ration of food. In 1851, at 15, he got a job as a printer and occasional writer and editor at the Hannibal Western Union, a little newspaper owned by his brother Orion. Twain died on April 21, 1910 at the age of 74. He was buried in Elmira, New York. The Mark Twain House in Hartford, Connecticut is now a popular attraction and is designated a National Historic Landmark. Twain is remembered as a great chronicler of American life in the 19th and early 20th centuries. It is better to keep your mouth closed and let people think you are a fool than to open it and remove all doubt. Mark Twain. It's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. If you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything. The secret of getting ahead is getting started. A person who won't read has no advantage over one who can't read. Whenever you find yourself on the side of the majority, it is time to pause and reflect. Mark Twain. Age is an issue of mind over matter. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. All you need in this life is ignorance and confidence, and then success is sure. Mark Twain. If it's your job to eat a frog, it's best to do it first thing in the morning. And if it's your job to eat 2 frogs, it's best to eat the biggest one first. Mark Twain. Get your facts first, then you can distort them as you please. Suppose you were an idiot, and suppose you were a member of Congress, but I repeat myself. Anger is an acid that can do more harm to the vessel in which it is stored than to anything on which it is poured. Mark Twain. The fear of death follows from the fear of life. A man who lives fully is prepared to die at any time. Patriotism is supporting your country all the time, and your government when it deserves it. Mark Twain. Don't go around saying the world owes you a living. The world owes you nothing. It was here first. Forgiveness is the fragrance that the violet sheds on the heel that has crushed it. In the first place, God made idiots. That was for practice. Then he made school boards. Courage is resistance to fear. Mastery of fear, not absence of fear. Go to heaven for the climate, hell for the company. A man who carries a cat by the tail learns something he can learn in no other way. Good friends, good books and a sleepy conscience, this is the ideal life. Never put off till tomorrow what you can do the day after tomorrow. The lack of money is the root of all evil. I am an old man and have known a great many troubles, but most of them never happened. Mark Twain. Buy land, they're not making it anymore. A man's character may be learned from the adjectives which he habitually uses in conversation. You can't depend on your eyes when your imagination is out of focus. The best way to cheer yourself up is to try to cheer somebody else up. The only way to keep your health is to eat what you don't want, drink what you don't like, and do what you'd rather not. Mark Twain. Don't let schooling interfere with your education. Part of the secret of a success in life is to eat what you like and let the food fight it out inside. Do the right thing. It will gratify some people and astonish the rest. Mark Twain. It ain't those parts of the Bible that I can't understand that bother me, it is the parts that I do understand. Humor is mankind's greatest blessing. Do the thing you fear most and the death of fear is certain. Thunder is good, thunder is impressive, but it is lightning that does the work. I can live for 2 months on a good compliment. Truth is stranger than fiction, but it is because fiction is obliged to stick to possibilities truth isn't. Mark Twain. All generalizations are false, including this one. Clothes make the man. Naked people have little or no influence on society. There are basically two types of people. People who accomplish things, and people who claim to have accomplished things. The first group is less crowded. Mark Twain. The human race has one really effective weapon, and that is laughter. Let us endeavor so to live so that when we come to die even the undertaker will be sorry. Denial ain't just a river in Egypt. Mark Twain. Never pick a fight with people who buy ink by the barrel. Life would be infinitely happier if we could only be born at the age of 80 and gradually approach 18. The reports of my death have been greatly exaggerated. There are lies, damned lies and statistics. Giving up smoking is the easiest thing in the world. I know because I've done it thousands of times. It usually takes me more than 3 weeks to prepare a good impromptu speech. When you fish for love, bait with your heart, not your brain. Don't part with your illusions. When they are gone, you may still exist, but you have ceased to live. The right word may be effective, but no word was ever as effective as a rightly timed pause. Golf is a good walk spoiled. A man is never more truthful than when he acknowledges himself a liar. Loyalty to petrified opinion never yet broke a chain or freed a human soul. My mother had a great deal of trouble with me, but I think she enjoyed it. Mark Twain. We have the best government that money can buy. There is no distinctly American criminal class, except Congress. Mark Twain. I don't like to commit myself about heaven and hell, you see, I have friends in both places. There is a charm about the forbidden that makes it unspeakably desirable. Wrinkles should merely indicate where smiles have been. When your friends begin to flatter you on how young you look, it's a sure sign you're getting old. Grief can take care of itself, but to get the full value of a joy you must have somebody to divide it with. Mark Twain. The very ink with which history is written is merely fluid prejudice. Only one thing is impossible for God, to find any sense in any copyright law on the planet. Mark Twain. Cauliflower is nothing but cabbage with a college education. When we remember we are all mad, the mysteries disappear and life stands explained. The difference between the almost right word and the right word is really a large matter. 'Tis the difference between the lightning bug and the lightning. Mark Twain. It's no wonder that truth is stranger than fiction. Fiction has to make sense. Be careful about reading health books. You may die of a misprint. A person with a new idea is a crank until the idea succeeds. Action speaks louder than words but not nearly as often. If the world comes to an end I want to be in Cincinnati. Everything comes there 10 years later. Mark Twain. When people do not respect us we are sharply offended, yet in his private heart no man much respects himself. Be careless in your dress if you must, but keep a tidy soul. Climate is what we expect, weather is what we get. Many a small thing has been made large by the right kind of advertising. But who prays for Satan? Who in 18 centuries has had the common humanity to pray for the one sinner that needed it most? Mark Twain. Thousands of geniuses live and die undiscovered either by themselves or by others. I didn't attend the funeral but I sent a nice letter saying I approved of it. I came in with Halley's Comet in 1835. It is coming again next year, and I expect to go out with it. It will be the greatest disappointment of my life if I don't go out with Halley's Comet. The Almighty has said no doubt, now here are these two unaccountable freaks, they came in together, they must go out together. It is by the goodness of God that in our country we have those three unspeakably precious things: freedom of speech, freedom of conscience, and the prudence never to practice either of them. Mark Twain. If you hold a cat by the tail you learn things you cannot learn any other way. Patriot, the person who can holler the loudest without knowing what he is hollering about. Few things are harder to put up with than the annoyance of a good example. Loyalty to the nation all the time, loyalty to the government when it deserves it. Laws control the lesser man. Right conduct controls the greater one. God made the idiot for practice and then he made the school board. Everything has its limit, iron ore cannot be educated into gold. Why is it that we rejoice at a birth and grieve at a funeral? It is because we are not the person involved. Often it does seem such a pity that Noah and his party did not miss the boat. Work consists of whatever a body is obliged to do. Play consists of whatever a body is not obliged to do. Everything human is pathetic. The secret source of humor itself is not joy but sorrow. There is no humor in heaven. Apparently there is nothing that cannot happen today. The trouble ain't that there is too many fools but that the lightning ain't distributed right. Classic, a book which people praise and don't read. When angry count to 4, one very angry swear. Noise proves nothing. Often a hen who has merely laid an egg cackles as if she laid an asteroid. Against the assault of laughter nothing can stand. Travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry and narrow-mindedness, and many of our people need it sorely on these accounts. Man was made at the end of the week's work when God was tired. I have never taken any exercise except sleeping and resting, and I never intend to take any. I must have a prodigious quantity of mind. It takes me as much as a week sometimes to make it up. Honesty is the best policy when there is money in it.